All right, eligible students, let's go ahead and do the Chapter 2 test review. We're going to go over 12 questions here. The first one says write a sentence as an inequality. If I was to write this, it says a number d minus 2, well, we know that's going to be d minus 2, is less than negative 1. So I would write this as d minus 2 is less than negative 1. All right. So solve the inequality, graph the solution. If I did this one, I'm going to subtract 4 from both sides. When I do, I'm going to get 10 minus 4, and that's going to give me a 6 over here. So P will be less than 6. On my graph, I will show a number line. My line will be at 6. And since P is less than it, it will be an open circle with an arrow pointed toward the left. Number 15, since R minus 4 is greater than negative 6, I'm going to add 4 to both sides. 6 plus 4 is going to give me negative 2. So R is going to be greater than negative 2. I can see then that I'm going to make a number line with an open circle because there's no line underneath, and point the arrow toward all the bigger numbers. Okay. Let's see. We got number, says the 20. It says solve the inequalities, graph the solutions. I know these numbers aren't in order. They're just random things that were taken from the book. We got 3x is greater than negative 12. Everyone knows the opposite of multiplying 3 is dividing by 3. So I will divide by 3 on both sides to get x by itself. Negative 21 divided by 3 is negative 7. And x is greater than negative 7 is my answer. I have an open circle and point to all the numbers that are bigger than negative 7. Number 21, I see that I'm going to have g being divided by 5. The opposite of dividing by 5 is multiplying by 5. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 5. 5 times negative 4 is negative 20. So now I have negative 20 is less than or equal to g. When we put this with the variable in front, we have to turn everything around. So it would be g is greater than or equal to negative 20. I will shade in my dot since there is a line here and point to all the numbers bigger than negative 20. 23 says s is being divided by negative 8. This time we're dividing by a negative number. And the rule is when multiply or divide by a negative number, we're going to have to turn this symbol around. So the opposite of dividing by negative 8, I'll be multiplying by negative 8 on both sides. Negative 8 times 11 will be negative 88. And so this tells me that when I turn my symbol around, s will be less than or equal to negative 88. I'll shade in my dot and point to all the numbers less than. Number 24 has 2 with q. That means I have to divide 2 away, whatever I divide from one side or the other. 36 divided by 2 is 18. I don't turn this symbol around because I did not multiply or divide by a negative number. But I do turn around when I'm putting my variable in front. So since I'm bringing q over here, I turn this around and bring 18 here. Q is bigger than 18, which means all the numbers that are bigger than 18, not to include 18. There is no line here. Number 27, first I'm going to add 4 to both sides. When I add 4 to 11, it'll be 15. Then I'm going to divide 3 away from 3x. 15 divided by 3 should give me 5. I didn't divide by a negative number, so my symbol stays the same. X is greater than 5. That's an open circle with my arrow pointing to the greater side. Number 28, I see that I'm going to, well, there's 2 ways to do this, and I know that we were shown one way here, and I'm not sure I'm crazy about it. In this one, what it looks like he did is multiplied by 2 first, and then he subtract. This is not what I want you guys to do, so I'm going to go ahead and do the work right here. The rule is we're supposed to do PEMDAS backwards, which means I can subtract 9 from both sides. When I do this, I'm going to get a negative 13 on this side. and that's greater than b over 2. Now I could go to multiply by 2 to get rid of dividing by 2. And I'm still going to get the same answer, negative 26 is less than b. I want to make my number line. That's pretty self-explanatory. Remember, I want my variable in front. So this is equal to b is greater than negative 26. I'll put my negative 26 here, and then I'll follow my symbol right there. This will be an open circle, and all the lines pointing this way on the number line. Okay? I'm pretty sure his came up to the same thing. But this is the way I want you to solve it in my class, because we are supposed to use inverse operations, and that means doing PEMDAS backwards. As you will see, you're going to get the same answer. Right? And there it is, negative 26, and the arrow is pointing to all the numbers bigger. Sorry about that. All right, number 27. We got 7.5 minus n is less than or equal to n plus 3. I'm going to have to combine my variables. I'm going to have to add n to both sides. That's going to give me 2n. Then I'm going to have to subtract 3 from both sides, and that's going to give me, well, 4.5. So now I have 4.5 is less than or, and there's a little glitch here that I see that that he made, so I'm going to have to correct it. There is a line here, which means there should be a line here, should be a line here, and a line in my answer, right? So this should be a shaded in dot. Okay, sorry, that was not my doing. You can tell this is not my handwriting. But sometimes we overlook things when we're going through things pretty quick, even as teachers. So once we have got, once we added n to both sides and got 2n, and we subtracted 3 from both sides and got 4.5 is less than or equal to 2n, then we divide by 2. And 4.5 divided by 2 is 2.25. And so we have 2.25 is less than m, or we can say that m is greater than, and remember this should have a sign under it. I can't put one because the pen evidently doesn't want to go ahead and, oh, there we go. Is it going to let me write it? Evidently not. It just wants to keep hitting that button. But there should be a line here because there's a line here and a shaded in dot. Let's go on to number 30 now. For number 30, we're going to distribute properties first, which means we're going to take this number in front and multiply it to all the numbers in there. When I do, I should have negative 8s plus 4 is going to be greater than or equal to negative 5s minus 10. First, I'm going to combine my variables. I'm going to add 8s to both sides. This guarantees me a positive number. 8 minus 5 is 3, so I have 3s now. And the new inequality is 4 is greater than or equal to 3s minus 10. Now to isolate my variable s, I'm going to add 10 to both sides. 4 plus 10 is 14. Now to get 3 away from s, I'll divide it away, which means I need to divide 14 by 3. This is going to go ahead and leave me with 4.67 by the looks of it. If you remember to put the dot in this time, since s is less than or equal to this number, then it will be all the numbers that are less than 4.67. All right? Let's move on. So solve the inequality. Write the solution using the set builder notation, and then graph the solution if it's possible. Well, for number 35, we know we're going to have to subtract 1 from both sides, right, to get rid of this one. That's going to give us a negative 6 over here, and this is going to be an 18 over here with 3z. Then we would divide 3 away. Okay, we subtracted 1 from both sides. Then we'll divide 3 away. We divide it from 18. That's going to give us 18 divided by 3, which is 6. Over here, I had to make some corrections. When I have -6, I'll divide by 3, and -6 divided by 3 is -2. Then to go ahead and put it in the set builder notation, remember, you're going to have to state that z, okay, is basically saying z is going to be greater than -2, greater than or equal to -2, but it's going to be less than 6. So we would have a dot on both sides, since these are both can be equal to it, with -2 going to 6. Number 36, this has an or, so we're going to have to do each of these separately. We could have done these together, and I'm going to demonstrate that really quick. We could have just said -1 to both sides, and we would have had 18 is greater than or equal to 3z minus 6. Then we would divide by 3 all the way across. Everything gets divided by 3. 18 divided by 3, that's going to give us 6. We do not multiply or divide by a negative number. The symbol doesn't turn around. Z is now isolated, and -6 divided by 3 is -2. And that was a lot simpler to me than what happened in the other example, but I want to show you both ways. Okay, and remember the set builder is still going to be the same thing. We'll have z over here, put the line there, and put our just parenthesis signs there. All right, I'm going to go to number 36 now after I erase this. All right, on this one, we're going to do these separately. So first, I'm going to have to divide -3 from this side, which means I'll divide -3 from this side. -6 divided by -3 is 2. So since I divided by a negative number, this symbol will turn around. This would be p is less than -2, less than or equal to -2. On this side, I see that I'm going to be having to subtract 1 from each side. 13 minus 1 is 12. I'm not dividing by a negative number this time, so I don't turn the symbol around, and 12 divided by 4 is 3. So p can also be greater than 3. When I use my set builder notation, I have my parentheses and put the p, okay, is less than 2, but it is greater, or less than or equal to 2, but greater than 3, okay? Let's try some word problems now. It says you have $25 of purchase apps on your cell phone. Each app that you want costs $3.99. Describe the number of apps that you can purchase. Well, remember, each one of these apps is $3.99, right? And you only have $25. So you can only buy up to $25. So you'll put $3.99 times X. That's the number of apps that you could purchase, right? And it has to be less than or equal to $25. We'll divide 3.99 from both sides to isolate our variable. That's going to give us 6.3. I can't buy 0.3 of something, which means I can only purchase 6 apps. Next. It says here a highway has a minimum speed limit of 45 miles an hour and a maximum speed limit of 90 miles an hour. Write and solve an inequality that represents the legal driving speeds in miles per hour. Well, this tells me that I would have 4s, or 45, excuse me, not 4s. 45 is less than s, but s is less than or equal to 70, right? Remember, the minimum speed limit is 45 miles an hour, okay? I can't go 45 miles an hour, all right? Highway is a minimum speed, so okay. I don't know why, if this is a minimum speed, why you put 45 here. I would say that this is 45, right? If it says the minimum speed limit of 45 miles an hour, that means it can be 45 miles an hour. And the maximum speed is 70. Well, that means it could also be 70. So you can drive no less than 45 miles an hour, and you can drive, and you cannot exceed 70 miles an hour. So this should have been less than or equal to. Now, this one says you wanted to subscribe to an online streaming service for live television. For what numbers of months is the total cost of channel champs less than the total cost of TV Mania? Well, I see over here that I'm paying $34.99 per month. Over here, I'm paying $39.99 per month. First 2 months are free then. So to set this up, I'm going to say that on one side, I'm paying $34.99 times X, that's the number of months. But over here, I'm paying $39.99, okay, times the number of months, but I'm minusing 2 payments of $39.99. I know that $39.99 times 2 is going to be $79.98. So the first thing that they're having me do is combine my like terms on each side. I'm going to subtract $39.99 from both sides so I can isolate the variable and get it on one side. $34.99x minus $39.99x is negative 5x. That's going to be less than, remember, this is adding and subtracting. We are not dividing these away yet, so we don't have to turn the symbol around. And then over here, they multiplied negative 2 times $39.99, and that's where they got the negative 79.98. Now, to get x alone, we're dividing negative 5 away. I'll divide it from the other side. And again, we have to turn that symbol in the other direction. So x is going to be greater than $15.99. So $15.99. So it's about 16 months, right? About 16 months. That's the number of months that the total champ, so the channel champ, the total cost of channel champ, that is going to be less than the total cost of TV Mania. All right? I believe that's all of them that I'm going over. So hopefully this helped you get ready for the test. If you have any questions, come and ask. Good luck.